Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Digging Deeper with none other than Mr. Casey himself. What up, brother? How you doing this evening?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing damn good that we finally got you on the show.
There we go.
How you been, man? How are things going for you these days?
Oh, pretty good. You know, I'm busy as dad most of the time, and every once in a while I get to go out and work in my shop and make some stuff, be creative. You know, you guys see a lot of it.
Oh yeah, no, a personal fan here for sure, man. I mean, anytime you're messing with the bell siphon or any of your contraptions that you got going on, man, I'm always most certainly interested in seeing what you got going on, man. Go for it, buddy. Go for it. Go for it, Casey.
Oh, I was just saying, I find it entertaining myself, and I like to share. I need to test that bell siphon out a little bit more and then take it off and see what difference it makes at all. Because, you know, I don't know. I'm just playing around.
No, that's freaking awesome, man. I mean, out of all the guys that I know on Facebook, someone to make it happen, and it'd definitely be you. So that's for sure. That's for sure. How you doing, James? How you doing?
Great, man. How are you today? I'm just doing wonderful. You know, the weather's good here in Montana. Flames are still snowed in. That's drag, but you know they'll melt soon. But no, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy we finally got Casey on the show. You know, I'm excited just like you are.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Computer by now, but we're doing it on the phone. It's fine.
Hey, it actually is streaming quite well. That's the nice thing about this platform is it'll pull your video and it'll do the best it can with it. So it's looking like it's streaming for you about 720p. So it's looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Looking good over here. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat room here. We got some familiar faces. We got Rob in here. We got Mr. Chuck Butler. He says, yo, 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 prospecting buddies. Here, let's pop this up here. Bada bing, bada boom. Yo, 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 prospecting buddies. I can't wait to see my favorite sluice maker and hear his story. What up, Chuck?
Yeah, right on, Chuck. Looks like we got Paul Schreiber in here as usual. Hey, Paul.
We got Paul in the building. We got Frank Higgins. We got Mr. One More Pan. What's up, bro?
Oh, we better not look over Rob McGuire. We got Mr. Rob McGuire in here.
We got Mr. Rob in the building. We got HD Shovel Ed. Oh, I think I know who that is. I think I got flack last time for not remembering who it was. What's up, brother? Glad to see you in here as well.
That's awesome.
All right, let's kick off the podcast. Mr. Casey.
Yes.
Most famous question, first and foremost, how the hell did you get into gold prospecting, bro?
My grandpa, he was an old-time gold miner. He was hardcore. He was a roofer up into his 70s, and you know he had Alzheimer's, and that's what ended up doing him in the end. But he had me climbing up mountains as soon as I could walk. I found my first gold nuggets with him, and he kept them.
He made you do the hard work.
Yeah. But I don't think I was supposed to find a nugget the first pan. So yeah, he had a mine up on Mount St. Helens, and they were getting ready to start hauling ore out to be smelted when the mountain blew in 1980.
Wow.
Yeah, I lost 2 uncles and an aunt there. They didn't want to leave the mine. They wanted to just run into the mine when the mountain blew. My grandpa didn't want to leave, but my dad brought him out probably 16 hours before the mountain blew right at their mine. So they're just
Wow.
right across the lake, Spirit Lake, from where it blew horizontally, just right at them. So yeah, they didn't stand a chance. They didn't make it into the mine. My aunt or uncle's girlfriend, whoever it was, she was in the bed and she died in the bed. It was just so hot. But anyways, yeah, we want to go up there and look for that, even though it's part of the volcanic monument and now it's off limits. But there's a bunch of old historical mines up there, and it was just one of many along that ridge, and it had really good, high quality ore.
Wow, that is holy crap to start off the bat, bro.
Bang, that was heavy. Talk about an anvil falling down. Boom.
That's crazy, man.
If the mountain didn't blow, life would probably be very different. If Grandpa.
Oh,
yeah, I look at old maps, and they talk about a lot of old mines that were across the ridge from there. And I've thought about that because I'm old enough that I can remember the ash. I remember waking up here in Montana, looking out my front window, and I was like 6 years old, and my brothers were there, and I'm like, what's with all the gray snow? And they're like, that's not snow, man. That's volcanic ash. Mount St. Helens blew up. And I'm like, at that young of an age, you're like trying to comprehend how a mountain, a volcano that far away, I mean, for me, made it here. And then your story, I mean, that's
wild. That's
just crazy, man.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of prospecting up and around southeast Idaho and southwest Idaho, I think. Do you know where Copper Basin is? Does that ring a bell?
I don't.
I don't know where it is, no.
All right. That's where he was having me free climb up rocks. I was like 13, and I was not scared of dying. Yeah. So I wedge up in a crack to go look at something he pointed out, and it was like nothing. So turn around and I look down.
Don't do it, boy.
No, I got it. And yeah, I didn't have any ropes or anything like that. I think that's realized that, I need to be careful. I can't do free climbing because I'm not. I just have no business doing that. So yeah, I like placer mining, but most of the time when I go out, my main motivation is to test whatever sluice box I'm taking out. I make a lot of sluice boxes. I'm always working on my design. If I don't go take it and test it, I really don't know if I'm making improvements or, I'm just.
That's the thing. The funny thing is, with the craftsmanship that you put into your builds, you are your own worst critic. Really are, because you always once you build something and you go and get ready to test it, you're gonna pick that thing apart. Most people, when they receive one, they're like, "Oh, this is sweet," and they go and take it out and go to town on it, run a crap load of dirt through it. But right. You are your own worst critic, because you'll take it out and you'll be like, "Well, I could have did this, could have did that, could have did this,"
Yeah, I don't do that with gear that I buy from other people. I just take it out. I didn't design it. I'm not worried about it.
Yep.
But yeah,
there you go.
And it's like that with music too. It's I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, but I build my equipment for me first because I think I would like this feature for some reason or another, or just have an idea, and I can go out there and grab some scrap and put something together and see if I can get some evidence towards that concept working, and then I'll go cut off some new metal and start. I need to start, like, even on graph paper, do more planning. My designs are very basic. One of my buddy, he's a metal freaking genius, and what he does is nothing. It's not a rectangle. It's just a couple of shapes to a sluice box. So, I did construction for years and years, so I had a lot of like crossover skills. I can read a tape measure, I can use power tools, I'm confident using skill saws and table saws and whatnot. And it was like 5 years ago I started thinking about prospecting more. I always had a pan in my pickup. I did a lot of traveling for, construction. And every once in a while I'd pull off the road and go pan, but I hardly ever found anything. And I wasn't like every weekend. Now I would go 5 days a week if I could. That'd be awesome. I wouldn't get anything. But yeah, what led me to building my first sluice box, because I found gold in a couple of spots and it just took forever to get enough. It's still not worth it to take a sluice box out there. I was seeing these videos online and on Facebook, people out running sluice boxes, and they're really processing dirt a lot faster than just in a pan. So I need to get me one of those. Start shopping. It's like, I can't afford that. No, I can't afford that. Like, oh, I found some, what is it, meat trays. That's the first thing I made a sluice box out with. Some aluminum, like, butcher shop meat trays, real and they have these ridges running along them to kind of make them more rigid, not flexible. So I had to like cut the rim off around them and then pound those out, and then I took it by fours.
Jesus.
I made myself a sluice box, and it worked. I used it like 3 times and gashed my hand open because I had screws poking out and sharp.
Jeez Louise.
I got to find something else. My dad called me up, and he's a fabricator, and they got this big, huge chunk of diamond plate, and it was for fender wells, for making fender wells around like a big rigs trailer. That he did a lot of stuff like that. Gotcha. So it arrived damaged, and it's like 12 feet long. It's a foot wide, and then it has like a 90-degree curl that would go around, like where you would have wheel here and a wheel here.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, so I cut it up with a skill saw, and then I riveted together, and then I had this big, huge sluice box. It was too big to use, but I was aware of the sharp corners at that point because, I'd cut myself. So I ended up cutting it apart and making a 6-inch sluice box. And you guys have seen pictures. It's the one I've been telling you about a couple of times. It's
right.
I think it was my first nice looking sluice box.
Right.
Yeah, you're all going to see that one again sometime soon.
I'm looking forward to it. You already know that, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look around and see what I have to put in it matting wise. I think I got a run of Gold Hog mat that's made just for it.
Right.
But yeah, so my sluice boxes I built for myself and my own. I have to like them before I start offering to sell them.
Right.
You all know the gusher box, the hand pump high banker, hand pump power sluice.
Oh yeah.
I think it's officially dead. I still really like the product, but now my standard mini high banker, it's the same thing no matter what pump you put on it. So you're taking a big steel stand off, and I'll probably still offer that, but the big steel stand is just to stabilize the pumping action.
Right.
And now I've taken the pump off of the unit and put it on a 5-gallon bucket. And I'm not going to bother selling the hand pumps. I'll just have this one model. And it makes it a heck of a lot cheaper for somebody that wants, a sluice. It's made for the hand pump, but you can run anything on it. I'm not going to be selling the pumps. I tried to get like a distributor discount, and they're like, no, we want like 10K in product moving a quarter. I'm like, why?
Yeah, no, not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
Right.
Talk to you. Never.
And there's other options for pumps that I know will work just fine. I prefer the pump that I use, and that's the Whale Gusher Titan. It puts out up to 28 gallons a minute, and I know I don't get anywhere near that when it's in the high banker, but it works pretty good.
Dude, that thing's a beast.
Mats, and the mats don't seem to run very well with the hand pump, so it's moss and expanded metal.
Right.
It's more stratification than anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm hoping to get out next weekend and test my new hand pump setup. So stay tuned for that.
So I gotta ask you, we gotta go back just a skosh here. So you decided that you wanted to go from a pan to being able to run a little more material.
Yeah.
You finally got to that point where you were shopping around, trying to figure out, what would work best, kind of getting things set up, I'm sure, in your garage, trying to get all that done, and whatnot. When did you decide, hey, you know what? I want to start my own business. I want to incorporate what I'm doing, and turn it into a business. What finally made you come up with that decision?
Well, I think it was just a little over a year ago. It was right before I made that high banker for you.
Yeah.
And it had crossed my mind several times. I feel like I jumped into it and I was able to improve really fast. And it just keeps going. So, at first it was like, yeah, definitely DIY. And then the perfectionist part of me is trying to erase all like the DIY marks, that thing. I had crutches and stuff on my first hand pump high banker, and they bothered me, even though I kept getting comments like, "Oh, those crutches, that's a great idea." And it's like, God, it looks like I went to the secondhand store and got a bunch of junk, which is exactly what I did. And, yeah. And I want to start like a video series when I finally get a computer. I'm going to go to the secondhand store and get something and turn it into a sluice box. It's going to be small sluice boxes or whatever, something I can do in a couple of hours and edit it down to, 30.
Dude, that's badass.
No
I
doubt.
think the craziest thing I've saw, and I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm going to bring up because I'm pretty damn sure everybody has seen it. The freaking fry strainer from the restaurant, dude. I saw that and I'm like, dude, that is freaking brilliant. Why hasn't anybody thought of that?
There's high banker, right? The Australian. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I talk with him a lot. I have been looking at it used to be the cash and carry. They've changed names, but they've been out of fry baskets for like 3 months, or how it was when I saw his video the first time. Like, oh, I was in the middle of making this mini high banker and I hadn't set up the spray or anything in the hopper. And I've actually put it off for several weeks, hoping to find a fry basket so I can make sure it fits in there with everything else. But I can just make a new hopper just for the fry basket. But I think that's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
About a 1/4 inch mesh and it's put on all sides. I love it. That's
ingenuity if I ever saw it. I mean, it's so simplistic,
right?
Yet the complexity of what it's used for.
Shop for $40 for that thing. That's not much, and it's like 6 inches wide. I think they taper up and down.
Yeah.
But 6.5 by, it's like 12 or 16 long. They're real long.
Dude, they're deep too. Yeah. Some of them are pretty deep.
Deep too. Yeah, they're big. Yeah. I'm still gonna get one. Banker.
No, that's when I saw that, dude, it blew my mind. So you starting a video series with what you could find at a thrift store. I think people are gonna really love that. I know I will.
Yeah. I'm sure it's been done before, but what the hell? It sounds like fun to me. At least a couple of videos.
Everybody can do it some way different.
I was gonna say one thing that I heard on the podcast a while back was, what was it? Everybody has invented the wheel for the mouse at this point in time. We're just reinventing it over and over and over. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're bringing joy to people's lives, whether you're going out and you're testing sluices, you're, going out and testing mats, whether you're finding stuff at a thrift store to turn into sluice boxes. I mean, no matter what you're doing, you're bringing joy to different people's lives who can't get out there and do it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, man. That's
Yeah,
the
it could have.
happy aspect.
It could have been done 1,000 times, but every single time it's done, it's typically done differently,
Mhm.
and people find joy out of it. You know what I mean? So that's a great idea, dude. I'm looking forward to that now. So you better make that a fruition.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just need to get the gear. I want to get a better camera, some GoPro style camera, something I'm not going to be worrying about the whole time I'm holding it over my sluice box in the river.
Right.
Maybe like a helmet cam so I can stop feeds, because it's always awkward holding the camera with one hand, feeding the sluice box or showing whatever you're trying to show.
Tripods.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of tripods.
I got myself a new tripod. My camera's on it right now.
It's pretty nice. I tell you what, it's funny because it's like anytime I've ever tried to record, I usually have my cell phone with me and I'm trying to record, but at the same time I'm watching the video. So like I'm not getting the best, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So it turns out like shitty video. I'm like, well, that was a good try.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time until I drop the camera or my phone into the water.
Yep.
That's why I got the GoPro is a great idea.
Yeah.
I've dropped them in the water. It's wonderful. Some of the newer ones, they're waterproof. They come that way. Anything like from the 7 back, you want the casing. And I filmed underwater with them last fall, and that was fun.
Yeah,
you could literally hear it pick like a suction hose. You just hear the gravel like you'd hear it through your ears, and it was a lot of fun to do. And any other good shot we got last year was with a tripod. We set it up and we kept feeding, and I think my daughter was there, and she did all the shooting while just the rest of us kept digging on that huge hole below the stump that Jaron was in love with. So
we got a few more comments. I just want to show Casey some love here because I think he underestimates how good of products that he has and his craftsmanship.
Hey, I try to be humble,
thing's
man.
Going off, man.
It's not going to be good.
Let's see here. Mr. MVP Joe Brickner says Casey is a beast. Let's see. All right. Facebook user. I don't know who this is. Excited for that gold fox flare, Casey. I gotta decide how long and how much I want it to fan out. All right, let's see. We got another question. How do I become a member of Prospecting Buddy? We got another person that says, join Facebook and sign up on the website. It's free, dude. An awesome community.
It's free, dude.
Let's see.
Damn right it is.
Arrow, what's up, brother, man? Glad to see you in the building.
Oh, my battery's going low. I'm going to plug in here.
All right, go for it. Yeah, most definitely.
Brother.
Arrow says, how you guys doing? We are doing awesome, man. Where the hell are you at?
Is he in Colorado? Is he in Washington? Where is he now?
Yeah, where are you at, bro? Where are you at these days? I remember he took a trip over there.
Shout. He was watching like a Colorado Avalanche hockey game the other night, which was I was very jealous.
Let's see, Christy, what's going on? She says, howdy, PB family. It's good to see you this evening.
You got
Good to have you. Yes, let's see. Diesel's Garage. What's up, brother man? Good to have you here this evening. Paul says, so are we calling it the Fry Banker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
Oh, that is funny.
I think that's going to be extra good for the hand pump, because I have to put my hand in the hopper a lot to control how much material goes down at one time. And if you have to take it out to dump, then I think it's going to be good the whole time.
Oh, yeah. It'll be really, really quick. Very efficient. Very efficient.
Reinforce it with 1/8 inch aluminum, because I think it's going to have a lot of wear with the steel basket coming in and out a lot. Right.
Yeah, I think all around that'd be a freaking great idea. I just want to try it.
Yeah.
I just want to try it. I just want to be right then and there, do the thing like I'm flipping some fries and
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Let's see here. Arrow says I'm home. I think Arrow wants to get on. Let me send you a link here, buddy.
Oh,
send him a link.
Let's see what his hair looks like today.
Oh, I love that guy. He is
Anybody that knows Arrow or talks to Arrow, you can never be surprised because his hair will be doing.
dude, he was doing a pompadour. He was doing a freaking pompadour like 2 weeks ago, man. It was absolutely hilarious. It was pretty damn funny, that's for sure.
I wonder if that's rule right there.
Do one.
Yeah, that guy cracks me up, man, with his hair. My hair, you never see it. I don't ever show.
I don't have any.
Well, I was getting to that point, James.
Hey, man, I just decided to go with gravity and let it grow upside down. Let it go this way.
That's one way of putting it, I guess.
Yeah, dude, stop fighting that shit and just let it grow the other direction.
Right. Now it's pretty funny. I got a buddy at work. His name is Cody, and he has a bald head. And one morning, dude, his head was just gleaming. It was just gleaming. And I said, bro, I pulled him aside. I said, I gotta ask, is it the tire shine or is it the hot wax? He was pretty pissed.
Was he really? He was pissed about it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, I would have been rolling. See, I'm so comfortable with it. It's like, I don't care, Oh, yeah. He has a hat on. Oh. Damn it.
Hi, Arrow.
I can do it. I can do it.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel better now.
Almost pompadour.
Almost.
Welcome to the show, Arrow.
Welcome to the show, brother man.
Home,
there we go. That's close.
That's good.
How you doing, Arrow?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing great, man. We got Casey on the podcast finally.
I see that. That's exciting.
Anywho,
anyhow. So you decided to start with Creighton Metalworks. For anybody that doesn't know, let's go ahead and show him some love. There's going to be a banner at the bottom there. Go over to his Facebook page, give him a like. Check out all of the videos he got, the photos. I mean, this guy is he's a whiz. I mean, he underestimates how good his craftsmanship is. So go over there and show him some freaking love, please, and thank you.
Yeah.
Skills at running my page are
let's turn him into a full-time fabricator instead of
full-time.
Yeah.
Well, that was the next thing. That was the next thing that I wanted to ask you. We kind of spoke a little briefly on it pre-show. But I know right now you're not taking it full time. You're kind of you're having fun with it. You're enjoying the hell out of it.
I'm collection too.
Yeah, you've acquired a massive collection that I think we all drool over consistently.
Yeah. My wife drool over it. I tell you what.
My collection has grown quite a bit too.
The other day and ask him and be like, "Hey, can I store some sluice boxes at your place?" He wouldn't have it. So what I need to do is get an attic in my garage and make a place to put just the metal. I don't want to put any matting up there. It'll bake in the summertime. Fall apart.
So with Creighton Metalworks, we were talking a bit. So when do you foresee yourself doing this full time?
Well, my son is in his last year of preschool, and he'll be going to school full time kindergarten in September when the new school year starts, and then I will be free to go back to work. It'll be over 7 years since I've been working full time. I am, it's another reason why I chose
no, man.
to do my business.
You've been being a dad, and having two of my own, one in college now, one almost through high school. That's a full-time job. Don't cut yourself short there. I mean, parenthood is hard. It is a job, and you want to do it right. You got to put the effort into it. So I applaud you taking the time away from the regular job thing and taking the time just to be there for your boy. I mean, that's a big thing, man.
That's huge. Oh yeah.
Two of them. I've got a son and a daughter. Echo is my daughter. She's 6. And August is my son. He's 4. Yeah. I'm ready to go back to work, but I'm glad I took this time off. You know, I get pretty stir crazy sometimes. If I didn't sell stuff, I would have so much more than I already have. And I didn't want to be selling so publicly, but under the table. I mean, part of me wants to go back to under the table, but you know, I think I'm going to keep a good thing going and just truck along until I could put 40 hours a week. If I can do 4 hours a day, man, I can make so much more stuff than I do now.
Look at it this way. Look at it this way, man. I mean, the support that you already have, the following you already have, and it's and that's the thing too that I like. Me personally, I sit back and I look at is like, you know, you haven't really like gave it your all as far as like promotion and stuff like that. You know, you're just doing it for fun and enjoying it. Just imagine once you go full promotion, like full. You know, you already have a lot of folks wanting to get their hands on, you know, the river sluices and the banker and, you know what I mean? So once you do commit and you go that full-time, you know, situation, dude, you got support all across the board, man. I mean, and there isn't a single thing to worry about. You're saying if I could work 4 hours a day, well, I'm sure you're gonna be working 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be long till Casey will be when he goes to that point where shit. I better hire somebody.
Yeah. No, I the next thing I need to buy is a quality brake.
Yeah.
I got this piece of crap brake from Harbor Freight not even 2 years ago. So yeah, I started building all this stuff, but I didn't even buy any tools until like 2 years ago. I was using 2x4s and hammers to, you know.
Dude, I am surprised. I am surprised at the craftsmanship for what freaking tools you had. Because I was under the impression, because I don't know what's in people's garages and shops and what they're using and shit. You know, so I was under the impression when I got the 3-in-1 from you that I had you build. I'm like, damn, this is like, you know, you put a little bit extra packaging and some cellophane on the thing and you could sell it as a new setup, you know, like, holy shit. Yeah. And so, you know, when
I don't think I'm DIY really anymore.
Yeah, when we started talking,
to be fair though, his shop is still minimalistic. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff crammed in there. But if you look at what he's building with the tools he's using, it's stupid.
It blows you away. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I thought that you had like all these tools and this, that, and the other.
I know what I do with what I have, and then I see what comes my way in a package last week, and I'm just like, damn.
You're like, holy shit, this is
that looks so
beautiful freaking artwork. Yeah, man. It's awesome.
Same brake from Harbor Freight, the big red, or their big red one. Yeah. So I was shopping for it, and you know, I was like, "Gosh, I really don't want to spend $300 on garbage." And I was reading lots of terrible reviews, and then I was starting to see good reviews, but they have to do this modification to it and that modification to it. And I'm like, "Yeah, my dad's a welder; he could modify it for me just fine." So I bought it and I posted pictures, and then people were like, "Oh, you shouldn't have bought that. That will never make a sluice box unless you use super lightweight aluminum, and you're going to have to modify the crap out of it." It's like, I still use it still off the shelf, and I have made many sluice boxes with it.
Oh, yes, you have.
That's not thin gauge aluminum that just came on that CM8 you made me. So
what's that?
That is not thin gauge aluminum. On that CMA.
It's a little thin for going up to like 12 inches, but I still do it. It's the maximum that my brake can bend. I mean, I've bent thicker stuff, just smaller pieces of it. I'm looking for a 52-inch brake that'll go down to like 14 gauge. So that would get me down to 12 gauge aluminum, heavy duty stuff. I won't build much stuff, you know, that I want the capability of it.
Right.
I know. It wouldn't be more than like $3,000 delivered from what I was seeing a couple of months ago when I was almost ready to pull the trigger. I was going to do some trade work for my dad and have him get it, but I think I'm going to wait until I have that money from sales. Because when I do side work, I put that in the family's money.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yep.
Like, drop 3,000 at once. You know?
So
It's a heavy bill to drop, I imagine.
So with you going full time, do you plan on having a website with products displayed, all that good stuff? Or are you gonna?
Yeah, I think so. It would be a while to get organized products. Even on my Facebook page, it has to link to a website,
Right.
and I have the website. I set it up as much as I could on my phone, and it was functional, but I never used it. I did everything on Facebook.
Right.
I was just paying for all these services that I wasn't using, hadn't even finished setting it up so people could order from me.
Right.
And I was getting a lot of spam calls, like 100 a day, as soon as I started it until I stopped it. So yeah, I think I have one more service that's just going to run out after the year is up. And then that's it. I mean, shoot, I was paying like $50 a month, and I wasn't.
Well, that's like with how you changed Prospecting Buddy there, Jared, isn't it?
Yeah, so I did extensive research, and I have spent many, many sleepless nights working on that website. Yeah, I ended up finding a really good service for a very good deal. It's a yearly membership versus a monthly. And they throw in just a ton of good stuff into the package: domain name, your personal business email. I mean, they throw so much good stuff in there, and it's extremely cheap for what's around. I'll definitely shoot you a link and whatnot when you're ready to do all that, man. But yeah, dude, I mean, I was originally getting charged this amount, and then they said, oh, well, okay, he's starting to make sales. So then they upped my monthly, and then I personally call them, wait on the phone for a freaking hour and a half. How you doing today, buddy? I'm like, oh, great, here we go, sit there for another half hour, explain the situation, and so I did a lot of research, found a really great, reputable. Wix is extremely reputable. But yeah, when you're ready to switch, man, I'd definitely go check out Wix, dude. Phenomenal products, great customer service. And they have 24/7 support system. So, I mean, any problems, hits, runs, errors you have, dude, it can all be squared away. And I mean, obviously you've done a lot of construction work and a lot of, you know the ins and outs of a lot of things. So learning how to develop and build your own website through their platform is super straightforward, man. So I do have a few questions, though, that have been in the back of my mind for a little bit. First and foremost, what made you come up with the name Creighton Metalworks? What was the idea behind that?
It's a geological term. A craton is like the nucleus of a continent, the oldest material that you could find on Earth. And it's full of gemstones and precious metals, but it's stable. That's what has kept it around since the beginning, since the first continent was born. So yeah, they're the nucleus of the craton or of a continent, and stability. That's
the main concept behind Creighton Creighton is stability.
Yeah, stable. So that's one thing I'm really looking for when I'm making stands and stuff. It's just got to be real stable. I haven't been doing much on my stands. I have a couple more ideas, and they're all aluminum. And I think I'm going to be doing it without any welding. So they like fold up or disassemble into sticks, and then you can put them together.
I love the leg.
Pushback unit sitting on the first one. And it's square, like a gold cube stand, kind of.
Right.
But I want to make one for like a river sluice or a high banker to stand on. I trust my leg kits the way I make them now for river sluices, and I'm getting ready to test them out on a high banker. I think it's fine. I got 6 legs on my big high banker. I'm pretty sure it's going to be totally fine. So they're all aluminum and they have a riv nut because I'm not doing any kind of welding right now. I could have them made. I can get them from Paul Jarvis. The brackets, I'm sure his are stainless and they're welded. So if you over tighten mine, you could strip out the aluminum threads, but you don't need to. Excuse me. Pardon me. You don't need to tighten them that much.
Yeah,
See, I like the legs. I like the legs that. So for those that don't know, Casey a while back last year had I had gotten a hold of him. And we were talking, and this was after I had donated that Hahn coop to James. I was looking for something that was a bit taller off of the ground because I am 6'4". I had to think about that for a second. Boy, I'm tired. So
he's actually taller than that. He just doesn't like everybody to think that.
Yeah, something along those lines. But so I was talking with Casey, and we were talking back and forth, and I was like, I'd really love something as far as like a 3-in-1, where if we're out testing, we can drop the river sluice in and run a crap load of material through and get kind of a test, a proper test. I wouldn't say a full proper test. I'm not running a full yard through the damn thing, but somewhat of a good understanding, I guess, of what is in this creek or this area very quickly. And then I also wanted a power sluice, with a power head attachment where I could run cons through, do cleanups. And it's funny because a lot of people, and I got to bring this up, a lot of people, they do their cleanups and they do it in these little small channels or, smaller little devices and things. I do mine in my 12 by 36, and it does absolutely phenomenal. I've checked my tailings billions of times like a crackhead, and I've never found a speck. So,
surface area to catch the gold, so you wouldn't. So, like if you're using a 6-inch box, 6 by 36, you're not catching 12 by 36. So,
right.
Like small cleanup sluices because they have less requirements for water.
Yep.
And I don't run that much at home. I'll go to my local spots around here. Arrow knows them, and I'll save up bunches of cleanouts, like 3 weeks without running anything until I have like 3 quarts, and then I'll break out my 6-inch sluice. I need to make another clear one because I sold Gabe my last one when he got
I saw that.
Yeah.
he was pretty excited about that. But I mean, when I'm out in the field, it's super easy, super convenient, and it works really, really well. I mean, for this, it all depends on every person's setup and whatnot. But for me, I am just in love with this thing. And then as a high banker, you set the hopper box on that bad boy, you adjust it properly, look at all your angles, check everything out, make sure your water pressure, yada yada yada. And it just tears through dirt like you wouldn't believe. And it's really light. The leg kit is heavier than the actual box and the whole setup itself. But that's nice because it's extremely rigid. It's not flimsy. It's
like the Hahn coop is too. They're rigid.
When you set it just right and it's set in stone, and that bad boy is not moving. Of course, I always like to take some flat stones, some real big flat stones, and put them under all the legs and then adjust accordingly. And then that way, as the water's running, it doesn't move that sediment from the bottom of the legs away and move your angle. But those legs are absolutely, and believe it or not, this is all bolt on, completely bolt on. I mean, it's just, I tell you what, the first time putting it together took damn near close to an hour.
Yeah.
I'm all set up and running, and he's still over there playing with the stand to put that 3-in-1 on. And
Yeah.
after that first time, I mean, I bet you I could put it together from memory.
Oh yeah,
You could bring it over, and I'd be
yeah.
like, I haven't seen it in 8 months, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, this is how it goes.
Yeah,
But
I was
your billet, those
ability.
legs that you have right now on the CM8 impress the hell out of me because they're solid. Everything you see is always a hollow tube leg, and I love that you use the square, the aluminum that you used, and the two bends. It's solid. It's not going to bend easy. It's not going to bow.
Mhm.
You know, and you see that, like, for example, my Honkoop, I've replaced all my legs because they're hollow, and I can't stand it, and they end up doing this.
Hey James, you want to read that for me, brother?
Hey, Jaron, this is the guy you told me to go through for a river sluice?
Correctamundo. This is the guy, 100%. I'm telling you, Casey, you got a hell of a support through Prospecting Buddy alone. I mean, aside from all the other pages, you got a hell of a support system, and
grateful.
It's all I run.
Guys,
It's all I run anymore.
Group on the internet, you know. I run a group, but I think your guys' group is so cool.
dude, I love it. I love it.
Proud to have you as a member, part of the family.
What I really want to do is we have some group digs coming up. I'm kind of wearing a shirt from last year that was a lot of fun. I mean, absolutely stunning views. Just the views in itself was worth the drive. But we got a lot of group digs coming up that we got to get planned. Arrow, James, by the way. But
hey, you can. You know, we did have something happen this week that was pretty cool. If you want to drop the.
Are you talking about this weekend or this? Oh, are you talking about PB's first
PB's
claim going live on the MLRS?
Yes, indeed.
Yes. No, we got PB's first official claim live on the MLRS. It is active. Josh, thank you, brother man. If you're watching, I appreciate everything that you've done.
Damn right.
I can't wait to get out there, get digging with you, man, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, so, you know, the first official claim for this spring. So we got a lot of group digs coming up. We got another official claim that I can't talk about just yet. Details are still being hashed out. But yeah, we got a lot of group digs coming up, Casey, and the equipment that I want at those group digs is your equipment, man. I want to promote the living crap out of Creighton Metalworks, dude, because I love your craftsmanship. I love your vibe. Everything that you're doing, man. I mean,
he's affected mining in Australia.
What's that?
It says Casey's affecting or has affected some mining in Australia.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, come on. You have.
Well, you know, the hand pump thing isn't my original idea. Put it on the hybrid. So.
No, but it definitely got their attention. I mean, they emailed, what was it? What's the jurisdiction they emailed?
Like the Ministry of Mining or something like that. But yeah, it sounds like, you know, they're getting pushback from their regulators over it too. In some spots.
I don't. Never mind. We could get into a whole episode about regulations.
We have, let's see, we have a few more comments here. This one, Casey, I believe this is from Alan Barnett. What's up, brother, man? Casey, you coming on the road trip with the guys?
Oh, probably not. I don't know. My kids are young and needy.
I hear you there.
Make it tough for my wife if I did a bunch of road trips. I might do one group dig this year, but so after this year, I think my kids are going to be a little more self-sufficient and I'll get to go travel. So if I'm doing my business full time, I'll be hitting gold shows and stuff. And I just, you know, I don't have the time to do it. I'm actually going to my very first gold show this weekend and I'll be seeing you guys there in Puyallup.
Yeah. Yes,
you guys are Puyallup bound. I am jealous, but
for anybody that doesn't know, which I'm sure everybody across Facebook and social media freaking knows, there is a GPAA Gold Show in Puyallup this weekend. What? Yeah, crazy. I know, right? So make sure you get your ass over there. You meet me. You meet this crazy guy. And I always screw up on this. Let's try this again. And then you meet
You
that guy right there.
Right. You'll meet these three right here.
Get your butt down to the Gold Show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Dave Verabioff's going to be down there. We tried conning Shannon on the last podcast to get down there. I don't know if Dave was successful in that. But I know some of the folks from Amber is going to be over there. I know Jeff's going to be over there, if I remember right.
You think Mike Pung's going to be there?
Mike's going to be there.
Yep.
Cash Best will be there, if I remember right. Too many to name. Pioneer Polly's going to be there. I don't know if Dream Mat's going to be there or not.
I looked at the floor plan and I didn't see a booth for him.
No, I don't think they're going to show up to this one.
Mountain West usually shows up with the Dream Mat.
Yeah, they sell.
Yeah.
There you go.
I only sell them when they come with the sluice box. I've made my prices so it's just cheaper to get it from the Prospector's Dream website.
Go support Casey. Once he gets full-time, like I said, make sure you support the crap out of him.
I don't have to wait till then. I still need work to carry me through.
I just sent you a message. I just sent you a message. So when we get off the show,
I got your message. Yeah, well, that's that.
You know, if you want something specific, hit him up, talk to him. He'll let you know if he can do it.
I'm probably not going to always be able to do custom work. Well, not as much, but I find myself doing quite a bit of custom work. It's not the best way for me to make money, but I'm not at this right now to make money. I'm at it to, get the money to put back at the beginning of the process, get some money,
Make sure you got that metal paid for.
So I'm not paying myself anything except for I have all the high bankers and sluice boxes a guy could want right now.
Yeah.
I get a lot of mats, but as for a paycheck, I couldn't even start to draw off it. Otherwise I'd run out of money.
How many ideas pop in your head that you want to try on a daily basis that, just out of the blue, you're like, oh, well, that's interesting.
A good amount usually. I should share more of my failures. The satellite dish pan, I tried it once, but it sucked,
I mean, it was a good attempt at upcycling something, trying to take something that
it was gonna kill my lower back. But I'd throw a scoop of dirt on it and shake it around and get most of the stuff off, but I couldn't even finish getting like the quarter size rocks to roll off, let alone have a good exchange material to have something left over. I tried 2 scoops of dirt in it. It might work a lot better if I just keep trying, but it was killing my back. I think I'm going to peel that matting off and get the glue off and use it for something else. Recycle thing.
Hey, I think we're all rooting for it. I mean, hell, I am looking forward to seeing a dish pan because what else do we use those things for these days? Let's be honest.
Making some new snow device. I'm like, what the hell
are
are
you
up to?
You have people coming out of their houses, damn gold panners.
People start ripping it off their house.
Taking my dish.
Yeah. Well, I had every intention of getting it on video to show whether it succeeded or failed, but I had other things that I wanted to run, so I just gave it a couple of scoops just to see, and I was like, screw it.
I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah.
That's too freaking funny. We got a couple of comments here. One more pan says, I've had the satellite dish pan idea till my
I might get some test waiters so I don't have to hunch down through the water to work.
Or you could put straps on it, right? And then just shake yourself under the water. Yeah, do like the jig.
Yeah. But maybe it has
Arrow here just shaking his head like we're all fools.
Oh man.
Art yet, so
I've been known to be a fool. It's okay.
That is too funny. I believe this is Ron's comment. He says, "Hey Casey, I took the mini out last weekend. It works great."
Glad to hear it.
Awesome. Yeah, the link to the GPAA show. I just put the link down there in the comments for anybody that wants to see all of the GPAA shows that are going on right now. Go on over to their website, go check out what they got going on. They got a bunch of different shows.
Are you going to be here for 1 day or 2?
I debated. I'm in the process of moving into our forever home. So I'm probably going to be there for the day, all day Saturday.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll drive down there first thing in the morning. Go grab some breakfast. Hopefully, I can meet up with you first thing in the morning, Arrow. Go grab some breakfast, bullshit a little bit, and then we can head down to the Gold Show.
I got to get out of the house by 8, so just
that's perfect.
call me. Just call me. I'll meet you down somewhere in Puyallup.
All right, perfect. Yeah, that'll work, man. We'll go grab breakfast. Breakfast will be on me, and then we can go down to the Gold Show and go have some fun, man. Yeah, so anyways, let's see here. With that being said, Casey, we had a question here not too long ago that was a really, really good question. Let's see here. What I remember the question. What has been your most favorite thing to build? Here it is.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Sergio.
Well, probably one of my hand pump high bankers. The first one took me, I don't know, a month maybe, because I learned a whole lot in that process of making it. And then when I put the hose in a bucket of water and started pumping it to see water run through it for the first time, that was probably the most gratifying. It was really rustic and just functional. It didn't look very professional. It was very much
very liberating.
That one was set up on a wheelbarrow frame, right?
Yep. Jordan Perkin gave me the idea, meeting him out at Wattle Creek with his hand pump rocket box that's on a wheelbarrow frame. So I had a loose idea of like a mobile wash plant. See, I was going to use a cart, but then, you have 4 wheels. The wheelbarrow is a lot better. But yeah, meeting him out there, like, clicked my idea, and I knew exactly what I was going to do. And I went home and started, and like a month later, I went out. The big floods had just receded, and from the first shovelful to the end of that year, I was on the Gold like the whole time with my hand pumper. And I was, the first time I stopped pumping to look in the sluice box, I was just running low V, and it was just covered with gold, little flaky stuff.
Now, but the situation in Washington's made it so you can't use that pumper now. Is that
yeah? It's
it's a joke.
Yeah. So it says you can operate a non-motorized mini high banker by bucket and handheld container only. And a hand pump is not a bucket or a handheld. They want you to pour water into the hopper. That's what they want you to do.
They want you to pour it.
Well, we'll see what they say when I get busted with my bucket banker.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're providing it by bucket. Absolutely.
And so, put a hole in it.
So when I'm writing these guys at the Department of Fish and Wildlife, I'm like, okay, how about this? I'll recirculate, and I will get the water from the river with a bucket, and I will pump it from the low point to the high point with the hand pump. They're like, no, you can't have that pump at all out there. It's like, really? Where does it say that? Where it says, well, you can only use bucket or handheld container.
Sounds like an opinion.
Yes, absolutely. But the opinion came from the people that make the stuff up. That's the problem. But they're not the ones out there enforcing it. I really am skeptical. If a game warden saw me out there on the bar, like right next to the water, recirculating. As long as I don't have effluent water just running into the running water, they won't have a problem with it.
I've had, you bring that up. That's interesting because I have had completely different conversations between Forest Service, which we deal with 3 people in Montana, DEQ, another name for the EPA, and then you got the Forest Service and Fish and Game. And Fish and Game is like happy. They seem like they are just so happy that you're making this hole, you're loosening up gravels, you're doing your thing, you're having a good time. And then you have Mr. Forest Service that's like, I don't like what you're doing. That's not minimal impact. And you read what their guide is, and their minimal impact is something like 5 acres, like making an open cut of 5 acres. And you're like, but this isn't. I've even had debates on what the bank of a stream is. Where the bank is. Is the bank really here, or are you calling the bank 10,000 years ago up the hill still the bank?
Right.
So there's some interesting things that come out of their mouths, for sure.
See, I've been fortunate to where I haven't had to deal with a single one of them bastards.
Well, guess what, buddy? You own a claim now. That's all over, pal.
Obviously, I'm going to have to deal with it now. Of course, I'm perfectly fine with it. But yeah, for the most part, I haven't really had to deal with them. I've had a lot of buddies that's had to deal with them quite a bit. But as far as myself, I guess it's just the luck of the Irish. I mean, I don't know. I've not had to deal with them.
It's a strange conversation to have. They definitely don't think how you would think people would.
Well, that's the funny thing is like, we've had so many freaking guests on this podcast, right? So many different amazing people. Yep. And it all varies by state, and I can't say that enough.
Exactly.
I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face, because there's specific states where they're just absolutely phenomenal. They're yada, yada, yada. They're extremely helpful. Uh-huh. And then there's other states where they're like, well, I'm the guy in charge and what I say goes. And, it creates this problem between the miners and, the people in charge, which, Shannon's already explained. In reality, we are the taxpayers. We are the ones that are in charge. Yeah. But they play this make-believe game, like we have to believe them into that they're in charge, So it varies state by state, and like you said, it's a very touchy subject. But
there's organizations out there that are going against us, that have been for a long time. I've been here in one particular for 10, 15 years, and they finally just they won. They won and got what they wanted in, and that just a heavy influence there of bad information. So,
well, you mean the turd on the wall, which would throw a bunch of turds on the wall, see which one sticks.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, they love doing that.
When they did a hand pump. So the guy who was in charge of it before, I had talked with him and I had showed him what I'm doing. And just to make sure that everything was, within regulation, because I was hearing from comments on some of my posts that I was breaking the law. No, I wasn't breaking. They were incorrect. I did, break a couple of rules here and there just because I didn't know them at the point. But yeah, so they knew about the hand pump high banker because I talked to them about it. That was probably stupid. I just wanted to make sure that Joe Blow was wrong when he was telling me I was breaking the law. But anyways, so they write this outline of changes they were going to make. And they published that. I read it and I'm like, okay, it looks like my hand pump's still going to be okay. It sucks that they're taking our electric motors now because, the hand pump's great and all, but actually it sucks compared to a 12-volt motor. Yeah. I'd much rather just be out there running a 12-volt.
I don't understand the mentality of
the
allowing a 12-volt motor.
Muddy water is their pollution. We get our material from the bank, from the frequent scour area, the gravel bar, and we mix it with water and put it on the ground they say we're polluting and we're damaging the fish, ecosystem. But
Do you think they'd be okay with the
This
whole?
is
You
the whole
think
soup
they'd be-
pot theory again.
They'd
Though,
be
you
okay
know?
with the electric with 12 volt, right? Because think about it. Like here in Spokane, I got a good example to bring up, right? So Washington's doing this whole electric vehicles and the blah 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 blah, right? Okay, cool. So don't you think they'd be like? Don't you think they'd be super cool with like the electric pumps? You know what I mean? Oh,
That's
it's
not a-
electric. It's battery powered. Woo! You know what I mean?
You would think so, but
Ultimately, they are limiting the amount of material we can move, and I think that's their goal.
you
And
nailed it, Arrow.
That's what it is, slowing us down.
But
slowing us
it's
down.
the whole,
But what they don't understand is that we've been doing this, as a community for 150 years.
yeah.
So you can handcuff us, but we've got 150 years worth of technology to fall on, and we just have to find which ones we can use.
Right.
It pulls me all the way back to episode 1 with Shannon, and it's the soup pot theory. We're not polluting nothing, man. I mean, we are literally taking something that is already there, and we're putting it back. We're just putting it back, and we're removing just
picking it up and putting it down.
And it's turbidity is not pollution.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Runoff every year. That's turbidity.
I have spent
and
a lot of
fish swim
time-
right through it. So
I've spent a lot of time trying to understand their argument, because that's the only way you're going to fight it. Is you have to understand what their thought process is and find the weakness. And turbidity is in the Clean Water Act. Sediment. What's screwing with us though is they're saying we need to follow the same regulations as a full-scale mine.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
And that's not reasonable. That's not reasonable. They're talking hundreds of yards or thousands of yards a day, and we're talking
hundreds of yards plus a day,
maybe 2 for a guy who's working by himself.
I'd say about a half a yard.
Well, it depends on how much rock there is.
Depends on what I'm running.
About a quarter yard. I take flack from all the guys in PB. They're like, "Oh yeah, come dig with me. I'll show you."
I used to dig ditches for a living, so
I can lift 2 45-pound weights on each end of the bar.
Yeah. I switched from carrying 5-gallon buckets full of dirt to the 2-gallon buckets. I can move dirt in a day that way because I cannot just do it halfway and carry.
Hey, a 5-gallon bucket full of water is 50 pounds nearly on its own. So there's nothing wrong with making more trips.
I learned that
2-gallon bucket than there is, filling up that 5 and hurting yourself. And shit, now I can't work for 6 weeks.
Banker hopper. The 5-gallon bucket sucks.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way,
man.
I learned that the hard way. I went down to Durkee, Oregon for a group push dig for GPA on LDMA property. And there was a bunch of these old timers, right? And here I am, beating my chest, ready to just run some dirt, right? Yeah, dumbass me, right?
There goes Gigantor.
And, so I'm shoveling the piss out of this dirt. They're classifying it. They're filling up these buckets, and they're like, well, how full do you want the buckets? I'm like, full to the brim. They're like, you got it. And so they're filling these 5-gallon buckets up, dude. And I look over and there's like 12 or 13 of them sitting right next to the banker. And it's a bunch of old dudes, and they're looking at me like, okay, are you going to start, I'm like, all right, whatever. I was like, I guess I'm going to fucking do it, right? So I go over to the high banker, and I'm picking these heavy fuckers up. I'm like, choo, choo, choo. And I'm on one bucket, and I'm like thinking to myself, how am I going to fucking get through 12 more buckets? There's no way. I'm done.
You got one empty one now. There you go. Now
that's
you can start
exactly
putting half of it in there.
That's
Dude,
exactly why you want to put set your high banker low. Because I do the same thing. I set it up high, and then you end up lifting these buckets up here. So if you can,
doing this.
See,
yeah.
that's
So
why
if you set it low, it's not as bad.
See, Jared
Right.
knows I don't even use the bucket anymore.
No, we got a really
I
good.
move the bucket. We throw it in the wheelbarrow, and the wheelbarrow
You
sits
fill up-
right next to the
Yeah.
high bankers. And you just
Yeah.
shovel that shit right
No,
in.
we got someone sifting. I mean, he's doing this for like 2 hours straight, dude. Like we're just dumping raw material. It's wet classified. We get a nice chunky pile in that wheelbarrow. We put that wheelbarrow in between both of our high bankers, and then we just shovel the crap out of it. Just running just dirt like madmen, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking wild.
And you get 2 wheelbarrows
I'll
going.
never
So
go
as
back.
soon as one's empty, the other's ready is full for you, and you just switch them
I'll
out
never
all
go
day.
I'll never go back to picking up a full 5-gallon classified bucket in my life. My right here, this from the rim of the bucket hurt so bad for like 2 weeks. I'll never do that shit again.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson. That's for damn sure.
We made an awfully big hole really fast with 2 wheelbarrows and 5 people or 4.
But yeah, that was pretty nuts, man. Yeah. So Casey, so I got a few more good questions for you, brother, man. I hope you're ready for them. Excuse me. So the first being, is there any type of new builds that you're looking forward to building, new ideas? I know we've seen the Bell Siphon, the CM8, we've seen that. Phenomenal product. Is there any new ideas that you can give to us right now at this time that you are going to possibly build in the future? Do you have kind of any ideas on some new plans for different products, anything like that?
Well, my creativity is kind of focused on unpowered water flow. Arrow is deep in that too. Like with the Bell siphons, I've got 2. I've got a little one that doesn't need a valve, and I've got a 3-inch one that needs a valve because it really rips that water out of the bucket. But yeah, I want to go to Cape Disappointment, set up on the beach and run the stuff, and then dump my tubs right on the beach. Make sure that the wardens, not the wardens, but the rangers are watching me and see what they say. I really want to take a hand pump out there, but I've already had the conversation with the Department of Fish and Wildlife. They
might do special rules out there, though, if you ask them.
What's it?
They might do special rules out there. I've heard that.
Yeah, if you want to do anything that's not mentioned in the book, then you have to get the HPA. You have to get it approved by them. So yeah, I mean, that was their clause. So in previous gold pamphlets for Washington State, it was kind of you can't do this, you can't do that, and this other thing, you can't do that. And if you want to do that, you got to get a permit, you got to get your HPA and your other stuff with everybody that has an interest in it. But this new way they're doing it is like you can only do this, that, or this. Anything different, you have to get permission. You have to get that HPA. Like, I could use the hand pump. It's still legal, but it's against the rules. So if they tell me I have to get HPA to run the hand pump, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to run it up and out of the high water mark if I'm worried about them observing me. But I think I'm even done worrying so much about that. Like, maybe I just have to put myself out there and see what happens.
Dude, it gets you to the point. Let's just, and we don't.
Thing's a warning anyway.
We don't got to go too far into that. Get you to a point. Let's just put it that way. It gets you to a freaking point where you like, you look at the outlines and you're like, you guys are freaking ridiculous. I mean, you guys are pushing it to the point where basically allowing us to not do any mining at all. And, it pushes a certain individual to a point where they start defying it. And it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it's reality.
Yeah. So they've lost their people don't see them legitimately. So there's so many people out there just doing what they want to do.
Lost credibility.
Ridiculous. So Washington, I'm convinced that they are on a fast track to completely shut us down.
Yeah.
And the reason I think that is they are making rules that aren't backed by law, and every year coming up with a new, more strict set of rules, and it's like next year it's going to be we can't put a sluice in the water, and that wouldn't surprise me. And then it's going to
wouldn't surprise me at all, man. I mean, it's unfortunate. And to the same situation. Excuse me. Chris Hayes had made a comment a while back. He said, any group digs near us? Yeah, we're going to be doing a couple of different group digs here in Washington, which is going to be the first of its kind. They'll be a little different. We're not going to be able to run as much volume, but we'll still be able to. What's that?
Because you can't use damn pump.
Yeah. So we're going to be able to coordinate. I'm hoping at least 2 group digs, if not 100% for sure for the season of 2022, regardless. So we're definitely going to have a group dig outline for Washington. I'm hoping to get 2 in the works, 1 over in Casey and Arrows neck of the woods, and then 1 up north towards the Canadian border. That's my goal and plan. But either or, we're going to have 100% for sure for the 2022 season, regardless. So hopefully that answers your question. Aside from that, we do have some comments here that I want to go over. Christy made one, and it says, I heard a rumor that Washington State might allow dredging to help reclamate creeks. Has anyone heard something along those lines? I know someone is doing that in California.
Well, they improved the waterways with dredges. After Mount St. Helens blew, my dad dredged thousands and thousands of yards of ash and pumice out of the Cowlitz River. So if you're driving on I-5 South and you see all those big mounds along the highway, my dad was on the crew. He was operating the big machine that pulls it out of the water and up onto those big piles. Excuse me. I totally lost my train of thought. I went off something else. What was the question again? Excuse me.
We'll put it up one more time. I heard a rumor that Washington State might allow dredging to help reclamate creeks. Has anyone heard something along those lines? I know someone is doing that in California.
I've heard the same, but I mean, I haven't heard it for Washington. I know that they use dredges to do waterway improvements. I know somebody who does some of that work. I haven't met them personally. Arrow, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that they do. They use dredges to do other things other than, recover gold.
Yeah, and they use them on the lakes to clean out invasive. I was at a job site last summer on Lake Washington, and I looked out, and there's this massive dredge, just exactly what we'd want on a big, big river. And they were out there just sucking invasive species out from along the shoreline, and it shoots it through a mesh box, which catches the plants and back into the water. And it's like, what is the difference?
Right. Well, I saw a video. It was from California, and it was on this creek that had gotten, like, the bed of it got filled with fine sediment, clay-like material. And the salmon quit being able to spawn in it. Excuse me. I don't know why I have a cough now all of a sudden. I'm not trying to do this. So they had a local gold club that all had dredges, and they came in and they dredged the crap out of it, and they were, going after gold. I don't know how much they found, if they found anything, but what they did is they loosened all of that clay-like sediment, silt material, and it was able to blow out and clear the river and expose gravel and sand. And within 2 years, there was the run of salmon had returned to it. I don't know the organizations that did it or what river or creek it was, but I saw that video. It might be what she's talking about.
There's a classic story, same with that in Idaho on a creek, and you actually have Fish and Game saying, please leave the hole open and leave those gravels alone, and you had DEQ right there saying, fill it back in.
Yeah.
We got a few more comments here. We got another one. It says hand conveyors. LOL.
Hand here. Yeah.
Yeah, I could just see.
How are you going to shovel?
You got two guys, right? So you got one guy with like the bicycle pedals, right?
Yeah.
And they're running the belt, and then you got one guy at the very bottom of the belt shoveling onto the conveyor. And the conveyor's going.
Yeah, Eye of the Tiger playing in the background.
Eye of the Tiger.
Well, this is where you use gravity. You have a bench and you need to get it down in the water. Find as much old metal roofing as
Miners
you
will
can.
do whatever
And just
they
let it slide
have
down
to.
that metal, man, and get it where you need it.
If I see a fry basket being used, I'm sure that the hand conveyor is not too far off.
I'm not gonna.
Right. Yeah. Well, there are all sorts of fun projects you can do if you're looking for like manually powered equipment other than like a sluice box or something, you know,
Battery operated treadmill.
and put to work to get the same thing. I mean, the hand pump is real nice. It's something that's already available. It's about $125, which isn't that bad.
I just stopped by the Home Depot parking lot and just hired some guys to dig.
That was bad, brother.
I'd have them run my pump. Just stand here and
Yeah, you do this.
So what do you do for a
There's
living?
that master thing I inherited from
I
my
hate
father.
it for Casey.
I pump water for Casey.
where I go, you don't make any money.
Oh, I gotta
Yeah,
find a good
that is the beauty of the hand pumper, because if you work with a couple of guys, you can still move a lot of material.
Sure, I've only had a partner on it one time, and you know, I measured my hole and I had 3 by 3 by 3. I'm like, dang, we did a yard. Took us all day long, but you know, we ran a yard in my original hand pumper, and
Right.
I think I got like 2/3 of a gram. Fine, you know.
Yeah, I can remember the small take we got out of this big hole that we dug, but it
Well,
was
that's
still
the funny
worth it.
thing. It was such a odd duck situation, right? Because we first were looking at this ground and we were kind of on a high mark, and we're talking 60 feet, 70 feet up from
About
the
50.
from the creek, and I'm like, well, we'll poke around, and I saw some really good some red dirt sitting on this tree that had fallen over in the root system. And I said, well, let me pan some of that out real quick, because that must have been pretty deep down. And, that looks pretty good. So I panned it out. And, of course, we got some decent color. And I'm like, well, shit, let's dig down here and let's test some more of this out. So we got to testing. Okay, well, shit, let's frickin' run the piss out of this dirt. So we started running, we were getting lower and lower and lower, and then the gold started drying up, and we're like, well, what the hell's going on here? And then we dug down a little more, and then we got a little bit more color in the pans. We're like, what at this point in time, we're like, mind you, it was 108 degrees out, and I said, let's just run the shit out of this dirt. Let's just put as much as we can, because we're finding good color here. We're finding good color here, and it's all in this one little vicinity, this one area. I'd say by like a 7 by 7 foot area, and we were about, the first dig must have been 2 feet or 3 feet, maybe 4 feet down. After we moved all the overburden. And then we got down a little deeper. We got down about 5 feet, and we didn't really find any color in the test pans. And so we're like, well, screw it. Let's go down another foot or two. Went down another foot or two. Found good color again. So we're like, okay, well, what's going on here? Let's run the shit out of it. We ran, I don't know how many yards in like 100-degree weather. I mean, we just went to town. You know what our take was for that whole weekend? 0.4. 0.4, man.
Here's why the gold was like this. Floodplain, so it was flood gold for many different layers of years.
When you had schist,
And then
that was shit.
Lindy and I were dredging right below that cliff. And I decided to go, let's fill that hole with water and just see where it goes. And I filled that hole with water, and that hole we were digging basically lead into the hole we were dredging. So it was just a whole bunch of bedrock, a V like this with a small pinch opening in the bottom. It was letting the gold out over time into that deep hole that we ended up dredging later on in the summer when we were allowed to. But it was kind of a weird thing because we didn't find gold at all for the high bankers, but we found good gold for the dredge.
Go figure. Once I went home, packed my shit up, it was game on for the dredges. But it was just a funky thing. We ran a shitload of dirt and
gold is weird like that.
Mosquito bites and freaking stinking and truck all dirty and beat to crap from the branches and this, that, and the other. And that's just the way it works. But
that's the adventure of it, right? Isn't gold the bonus? Don't we always say that gold's the bonus?
That's always the bonus.
The best part of it is always getting to hang out with the fellas and everybody else that's there. The guys, the chicks. My daughter was on that dig.
Dude, that was a lot of fun. I mean, when we initially got to the claim, here I am driving 2 hours from Spokane. I'm like, hi ho, here we go. Just super excited, right? And then we get there and, we got to dig this road and dig this and cut this out and cut that out just to get to the fucking claim. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm here. We got the shovels. Let's do it, right? So
I have never seen 4 people.
Dude, we spend like
clear 100, 200 yards of road and fill in 2 Kelly humps in 2 hours.
Dude, we sat there for like 4 or 5 hours, just
it
like
take that long. It was 2 hours tops.
Crazy nuts.
45 minutes the first night. We spent an hour the next day.
It felt like 5 hours.
Okay.
It felt like forever, dude. But, yeah, it's
help you get your.
That's the finickiness of gold, right?
What's that, Casey?
You need to get yourself a Bobcat to help you get your roads in a hurry.
That one Harbor Freight selling looking damn good. That's for sure.
Having a Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight special, baby, 20% off.
Harbor Freight excavator. Hey man, I just got that trailed at 500 6-wheel drive quad thing, man. I don't even know what to call it.
Harbor Freight, good stuff.
Yeah.
I got a lot of things from Harbor Freight.
All of my solar cell's great.
Carpentry tools are quality brands, but almost all of my metal tools came out of Harbor Freight. My brake, my brake was $300. I was watching I saw it for $170. I'm like, ooh, credit card. I'm taking it home now. Yeah, I'm glad I did. I have the 30-inch benchtop brake, which I have to use to make a few things like my leg brackets. I have a few tricks that are proprietary to me, and Arrow knows the main trick I use on the little brake. But yeah, I love everything I've gotten from Harbor Freight, and that all works fine.
Well, that's the funny thing. When I'm in a pinch and I'm going on a road trip or this, that, or the other, and I'm preparing and getting shit ready, there's always that one tool or there's something that I'm always freaking missing, man, whether it's ratchet straps or something dumb. And I'm like, well, 20% off coupon. All right, $15. You got it. I'll drive down there, use my 20% off, and I feel like I stole from them. And
right,
every time, whatever it is, ratchet straps, this, that, or the other, all the shit that I needed for my boat when I had my boat. I mean, it's all worked perfectly fine. Nothing. I've never had any problems with any of it. I don't buy
value out of it.
Yeah, I don't buy like the heavy power tools like the sawzalls. The shit like that I wouldn't trust.
Right. Well, I'm
Nice, Ryobi.
crew. We use so many Harbor Freight things on a full-time crew, and they lasted all right. There's a few tools that we wouldn't buy again. Man, we ran one of their air compressors for our nail guns for like 5 years. The air filter had broken off, and it gets knocked over into a puddle and sucks up dirty water into the compressor. Well, we rinse it out and keep going.
That Predator motor that they sell,
Skill saws we use, they were crap. I wouldn't recommend it. Things kill you. Get something quality.
Yeah, I've learned that over the years, especially with like drill bits. That's like the number one thing that I learned that the hard lesson on is drill bits, man. Holy shit!
just buy the good ones.
I probably bought like 18, 20 different packs of drill bits. And then I had one of my buddies like, if you add up the amount of money you spent on drill bits, you could have gotten some really good drill bits and only had to use just those.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you made a really good point. And at that point in time, I spent the money, paid the piper, got some really good drill bits, and guess what? I still own them, and they still work really freaking good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, with aluminum, I can get some of the cheap bits, and since I'm only using them on aluminum, they'll last a while. But if I touch steel with them, nah.
They just butter out, dude, and they're like,
yeah, they get hot. I'll start the drill after I squirt the punch mark with some WD-40. It don't care. As soon as it smokes that WD-40, it's
butter out. Gunsmithing game. One of the best oils to use to cut with, guys, is just gun cleaning solvent oil.
Okay.
It's amazing. Give it a try.
Yeah.
Any of the brands, unreal.
Yeah,
it works better than any other cutting oil I've used.
It's a higher viscosity than WD-40, and that's what I usually use is WD-40.
Yeah. It's really nice. It's amazing. Just a little squirt. You're just going to town.
See, I never used jack shit. What I had on hand is what I used, man. If I had spray paint, for gosh sake.
Well, that's how I found out. I needed something, right?
I had dish soap, or I had freaking paint, or whatever I had. Like, whatever I could get through this thick-ass piece of steel to get this bolt and nut, like, I would do it, and it would work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I drilled a bunch of steel the other day, and I did a few holes with WD-40, but it was throwing real sharp shavings around, and I had my hand pump sitting around. I'm like, gosh, I'm going to use the shop vac while I drill to suck up all of the sharp chips. And the shop vac kept the bit cold or cool enough where I didn't need the lubrication. I drilled 3 holes and then felt it, and it still wasn't hot to the touch. But I was holding the shop vac like right next to the drill bit the whole time, so it was cooling it really quickly. It actually worked good, and I didn't get WD-40 squirt all over the place. I'm sure it's a quality bit that I'm using. It's just in my pile of bits. I've got crappy bits and good bits mixed together. Now, you know what a step bit is? It's kind of a conical shaped bit, and every step in it is a different. So I use those for a few things, and I got a cheap set on Amazon for like $25. I'm like, $25? There's 3 of them. That's steal, dude. 3 holes in aluminum, and it was toast. It was just garbage.
You got to spend the like $125 or whatever it is for the good one.
Yeah, I got one.
But when you burn $70 up for pit,
and it's I'm still using it for $40. I wish I had 3 different sizes. Some of them are for 1/8-inch thick material. The steps are further apart, and I have 1 good step bit. I used to drill out my rivets with my step bits, but then I broke 2 of them, and I'm like.
I use my cheap bits for removing the rivets.
My rivets like to snap bits.
Hey, Casey, so we have another question here from Mr. Tim Peterson.
Hey, Tim.
He says, Casey, what's your favorite build?
My favorite build? That's something that changes a lot. The first favorite build was my pretty diamond plate sluice box. My next favorite build was my first and other hand pump high bankers. Each one of them, as soon as they were done, it was my favorite. When I changed my river sluice design to what it is now, I was quite pleased with myself. I pat myself on the back often. Did a job on that. So yeah, I take a lot of pride in my work still.
Keeps the mirror in the shop.
He's a what?
He keeps the mirror in the shop, so you know when he's doing good, he's like,
yeah, he does this kind of thing.
You know, when I built your high banker, I was pretty darn pleased with myself. I think that was, you know, I about told you no, get it from somebody else, because I don't even have the beginning of a design for one.
Right.
And talking to you about it a little bit, I'm like, okay, I feel better about it, and I know I can do it. He's going to be patient with me, and just what the hell. I was ready to tell you no, but talking to
He
you,
wasn't very patient.
Yes, I was. Get out of here.
different. Yeah.
No, you know, that's the next thing that I got to ask and put you on the spot here, Casey. When do I get some decals to put on the damn thing to
No shit.
the hell out of you, dude? What's going on with that?
Well, my buddy Paul, bass player and singer for my band, he's finishing up going to school to be a physical therapist, and he's also working on Craton Metalworks decal design and Sluice Box Hero decal design. Him and his daughter, they're both excellent artists, really, really good artists. My buddy Paul, he's like comic book style artist. He, you know, Dragon Ball Z. He draws characters like Japanese animated.
Yeah, like anime.
Yes, he's really good. But it's not going to be like that. I sent him some ideas. He sent me one back, and then I made some arrangements, and then he got back into his school thing. So he's finally done. I think he's finishing up like the last couple of things. But I talked to him like 3 days ago, and he's like, "Sorry, it's taken a year, but I'm back on it." So hopefully we'll see something soon. I want to get some vinyl stickers and maybe figure out how to make a stencil for like acid etching aluminum itself, so I could put an image in the aluminum, or make like that rivets onto the sluice box that just puts rivets inside it. So I'm not sure yet. I definitely want to get t-shirts and hats and stuff like that, but at least some stickers.
So we got group
I need vinyl just for my job site, brother.
Oh,
so that it's on that CMA.
I think the wife's burning the house down again. No, I need some decals, big time, brother, man. We got the group digs coming up, and I really want to slap some on that 3-in-1 that you built me. I'd love to promote the hell out of it all this season. We got the road trip coming up. We're going to be going in multiple different states, meeting up with a lot of the PB family. I want to show them the 3-in-1 banker. Want to, show them it running. And then of course we got the PB claim that's official over in Montana. We're going to be doing a ton of group digs over there. So I'd really, the sooner the better, for some decals from you, man. The second you get some in your hands, send them my way.
Definitely.
And I'd love to put some on there and promote the hell out of you, man. I love what you're doing. That's for damn sure.
I appreciate it.
Let's see here. So we got a couple more questions and comments here. We got one here that says, we got two of them. It says, Casey needs some swag.
And we just covered it.
Yes.
Let's see here.
But I need to focus on stuff like that because, make it a little more, my brand's fairly memorable. I've done a pretty good job with that. But yeah, I'm for some sort of stickers or something to put on my gear. Yeah. I put cat stickers on my gear. It's what I got.
No, we have a couple more designs. Well, we got one more design that we're coming out with Prospect and Buddy. We got these basic big bulky ones. And then we want to come out with another one that's more sophisticated. Doesn't have the filler. It's more of a window vinyl kind of decal. Of course, it's going to be weather resistant and whatnot. That's coming once I get all this moved in the next 3 weeks over to the new place, which nobody's going to know the difference. You're going to see the same backdrop, so nobody's going to know. But, we'll have that going. So I'd love to get some of your decals, man. We have a few more comments here that I wanted to put in here. This one says, would like to hear from Casey about his thoughts on mats.
Well, I'm a guy. All but sold my soul. I love Dream Mats, but it's not the only thing that's going to catch gold. I use a lot of V mat, moss, and expanded metal. I even use Gold Hog mat. Don't tell David I said that, but yeah, I'm shopping for a new.
Jim, don't tell David.
But yeah, I almost exclusively run Dream Mats. My hand pump setups, I'm not quite confident running any other mat other than, moss and expanded, something that's more based on stratification rather than active exchange. There's plenty of active exchange in there, but really it's the moss that's grabbing everything and holding the heavies in. And it's all about stratification for that. So I've used Gold Hog mat and I've used Dream mat in my hand pumpers. I just, I'll end up seeing gold at the end of the mat right away. And if I have just 6 inches of moss and stuff in front of that, it takes hours for me to see gold past that point. So I'm just, if I'm running a river sluice or if I can put a pump on my stuff, something that's just water the whole time, I will be putting my Dream Mats in there. And then every once in a while, maybe once a year, I want to throw the hog mat in there just to see
what happens.
See.
So,
The old famous, we'll see what happens.
you
Oh,
could,
yeah, that's why I'm using Dream Mat. I forgot. I'll admit I'm a part of the Dream Mat cult, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a cult for me at this point.
yeah,
No, they're great mats. They're great mats. They do exceptionally well.
the people that make it, I think David and Tim, they got a lot of character, and there's some big fat brains rattling around in there because, he's got a pretty unique product and all the variations of it. I can see the purpose of using. My favorite is still the dredge mat. I like that. I give it hell, and it's gonna still catch a whole lot of gold. This year I'm kind of focusing on going lighter until I know where I want to put something big and heavy. Last year I was focused on testing out the gusher boxes and trying to make a name for them, and here I'm gonna discontinue them before they're for sale. But yeah, running out of my train of thought again here.
Dream Mat. What
Dream
mat
Mat.
you prefer?
Yeah. That's
The way I look at it is we boil it back down to the same pot. It's all what you fancy. The dredge mat. So I've had a chance to run all of the other mats and the beach sands, micro, yada yada yada. Me personally, they work absolutely phenomenal, and I'm extremely happy with them. They require water. We'll just put it that way. They require water. I can't
hand pump because it doesn't
Dream
have.
Mats
get enough.
are thirsty.
Yeah,
Well, I think I'm going to give it a try with the regular Vortex mat on the bucket banker, because I have I think I can get enough water for that. That's a low enough profile to get the water to create the exchange that needs to happen.
Yeah, and
I think I can.
Like pumper, which is lots of water, nothing. Lots of water,
I
nothing.
will
Right,
say
the
the
bucket
mini mat.
is consistent.
Gravity.
It's still about stratification and watering your material down so that you're maximizing your recovery with. If you don't have, we can't use a pump, so we're just trying to figure out the best way to run that. I think that's the only dream. That's the only dream mat minus maybe the micro mat. I might be able to do the Cape D mat, but I'm not going to be able to get those in the size I need. So,
right, yeah,
I'm really in love with that mini mat now.
The only one that I haven't seen in action other than your use, James, is the dredge mat. I was talking with Casey a little while ago. Me and you were talking quite a bit about the dredge mat. I purchased the 12x36 for the 3-in-1 last fall. Yeah, last fall. I have not had the chance to use it. Joe Brickner over back east, he swears by it. There's a couple other guys that swear by it.
If you really want to see that dredge mat, how it works, we were playing around with it. Classify it down to, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch. You don't have to do that for the mat. But if you do that and run it, you can, the vortexes become exceptionally clear. You could see the fine material just spinning.
Right, but when you see that
big stuff like you wouldn't believe.
But but with that being said, I mean, typically you don't have to classify with dredge mat. I mean, that's what's been said.
No, you don't have to.
If I remember right.
And if we're gonna put it in the river sluice, it's got to be classified.
Right.
My wheelbarrow, I've got my 1-inch classifier that I like to use for the dredge mat. But if I don't have the wheelbarrow, I use the same thing that Arrow's using, is that floppy bucket thing, and it's it's around 1/4 inch minus. What do you think, the floppy bucket classifier?
Yeah, you might be able to get some like 3/8 flat rocks through there, but I also use a steel basket, trash basket. I just found it.
So would you prefer? So if you're classifying down to that, would you prefer that dredge mat in the river sluice rather than a beach sands mat or
because you can run larger material. That basket I use does about 2.5 inches. So I just fill up the bucket.
He's talking about the finer stuff, I think.
Yeah. So if you're classifying it down, like you said, before you're running it through, I mean, which one would be more efficient? Would it be the dredge mat?
Very efficient, but you're going to have to slow down your feed because it's not going to clear out like the big aggressive cells on the dredge mat. So you're trading more efficiency on capturing a little bit more gold, but you got to slow down the feed. Where if you're running the 12x36 dredge mat in the river sluice, with my 3-quart scoop, I don't have to keep it slow. I just shovel 3 quarts at a time in, but I can't do that if I'm on the beach sands mat. I like to classify finer for the beach sands mat, so I don't think I would be running the 1-inch minus. I know it could. I've seen videos of people just chucking.
Big old, yeah.
But yeah, I think that if I'm running 1-inch minus, the dredge mat's the one for me because I can just shovel it in. I do run the finer stuff through the dredge mat. I could shovel it into. I actually think the bigger stuff might help keep things moving better. I've noticed that I can overload the dredge mat if I give it too much fine material, or it'll just kind of sweep through off the top.
Yep, exactly.
Where stuff kind of keeps things.
We found that when we were running the 2-inch dredge on it. When we got into really fine stuff, we had to be super, super careful.
You overload
how fast we pushed it through because you would just overload it. It seems like you want that that nice mix of fine to some gravel with it. Mm-hmm. But when I was shoveling it in, I don't have my grizzly bars on, nothing. I run raw just on high baker.
Yeah. But I think the beach sands mat's going to capture a higher percentage of the fine gold that I find.
Right.
I just find that I could run 2 buckets in the same amount of time as I can run 1 bucket, which is going to end up being more gold. It's like, you're going to be losing something somewhere. I don't find a lot in my tailings. I'll go and run buckets of tailings all day long from the hand pumper in river sluice, and I'll average out like 1 or 2 specks per bucket. Not even worth your time to go run again. So yeah, you can spend more time to get a higher capture rate, but that's not the right thinking. You need to move more material. That's what you need. For gold, you move more.
Are you washing rocks or are you getting gold? That's the question of the day, because we can wash rocks all damn day. And Paul Jarvis quoted that on the podcast perfectly. He said, "Are you washing rocks or are you getting gold? Because if you're just washing rocks, you can do that all day."
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we are toward the end of the podcast here. If there's any other questions from you, Arrow, James, anybody in the comments, drop it now. If not, forever hold your peace. With that being said, Casey.
I've got one question for Casey.
All right.
Okay.
Get it done, brother.
Out of all the projects that you built that, I don't want to say failed, but, did not achieve what you desired, which one is your favorite and you think that you might go after it some more?
Oh, the Ram Force Hydro. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to come back to that. Definitely. I still have the what would you call the thing that catches the water?
That sounds badass, so you can't just leave us on a cliffhanger like that. Is there any
pictures? I took it out and I put it in the water once, and there wasn't that much flow. I got water to come out higher than the water going in, but not much higher. I need to like 3.
I got what you're trying to do. I understand.
Yeah.
Now.
So I've got like a box, and it looks a lot like your clean out funnel, but it has a back on it, and it's big.
Gotcha.
So it's 1 foot by 2 foot across on the white.
See, you've gone bigger than I thought. I thought of just a 5-gallon bucket and opening up the bottom of it more, and then a taper of smaller pipes to increase the pressure.
Yeah, well, that's basically the thing, but I made it out of aluminum. It's some really rigid aircraft aluminum that I can't bend. So
Dude, that sounds badass, man.
It's like a total twist on the gravity.
Dude,
on the gravity.
I would just be a happy camper watching a video of the damn thing. Like,
I'm happy that funnel. I love that funnel. I think out of all the things I've seen you build, I think the funnel is one of the coolest, just little things.
I need to build one for myself. When I take out, I need one. I
wish I had it near so people knew what I was talking about.
Dude, that funnel, man, is such a lifesaver, dude. Because I tell you what,
my idea, that was James all the way right there,
dude. So you got a square base at the end of the banker, right? And you got all that tiny little bit of stuff that likes to try to trickle out and onto the ground instead of in your damn bucket, which that's where you want it. And he designed a funnel in which it sits kerplunk right on the 5-gallon bucket. And so you could roll your mat up real nice and evenly, right? Set it like this, move your funnel real nice and gently, put your mat into that 5-gallon bucket, put your damn funnel back on, run just a Scotia water, rinse it all the way, and you collect everything in that 5-gallon bucket.
That was the whole idea of it.
Genius.
When I saw, you lift your mat and you see that stuff that got underneath it, and I'm like, my high banker's 14 inches wide. I hate carrying around a big old tote to put under the end of it or something. I'm like, I wanted to keep it easy, and I'm like, a funnel. But a weird shaped funnel. And what made me first think of it was the aluminum things you put mud in when you're doing mud and tape and drywall.
Yeah.
That's what the first thought of it was. And then why not take the bottom out of that? And I sent a drawing to Casey, and Casey stamped it out, man.
Dude, once you get your website going, I know for a fact those things alone will sell like hotcakes.
We've had this talk, haven't we, Casey?
Dude, those things will sell like hotcakes, man. I do not leave the house without it. I swear by it, 110%. After James I went and saw James have one. I was like, I gotta have one. I absolutely. It's one of those must. Those tools that you absolutely need in your arsenal.
You don't know it until you have it. or you
Right.
see
Yeah.
it, you're like,
Yeah.
wow, that's freaking cool.
Well, I have the original design saved on some graph paper, so I know
There you go.
exactly what you have right now.
Because he's high tech.
I think I drew it out on like a piece of paper this
You
big.
drew it out on a
picture.
napkin,
Yeah,
folded the
pretty
napkin up
much.
like a football,
And
and
I
then sent it
I took
to.
a picture of my phone and I sent it to Casey. I'm like, here's the idea, dude. Run with it.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
doing custom work and designing stuff. When I'm doing this full time, I think custom work would probably slow me down a little bit, but I don't want to take it off the table. But I think it might be harder to get custom work from me.
It keeps you
I've
in
got
that
like 5
niche.
different people talking about custom parts right now. I am gonna really hook it up on one of them because I said, no, I don't think I can do that. But then I had just an idea. I'm like, oh, maybe I can. So I'm going to put something together and send it to you. And you tell me what you think of it. So every once in a while, I'm going to surprise somebody with, hey, do you want to take this and use it? Tell me what you think. Because I don't got time to use everything I make. Really, I don't.
right.
Uh,
No, like I said though, once you go full time, man, you got a ton of support, dude, and you already know this. I mean, you got a absolute massive amount of support. You got my support. You got Arrow support. I know you got Arrow support. No questions asked on that. Look at the grin, cheesing from ear to ear already over there.
Arrow
He's
comes
my
up
bro.
and
There you go.
BS
You got my support, 100%,
and
man.
bangs on shit.
It's just fun because if you get an idea, you send it his
He also
way, you
takes-
chit chat.
Find some good gold, so that's a good trade there.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's a damn good trade.
Yeah, that was my best spot too. I mean, that was fun.
I'm ready to do landing, but I also want to go out to the Cape with you, and we'll see how much beach gold we can get with whatever systems we design. We'll do like a runoff like challenge. See who
There
gets
you
the
go.
best.
God, that sounds fun as hell. Jeez,
Well, that's
Louise.
kind of like what we do with the Han Cooper and the 3-in-1. We put them up
You know,
side
it's
by
funny
side
is-
and run dirt, man.
What's funny is we end up texting back and forth. Ooh, look at these buckets.
Tractor
These
supply.
buckets are nice.
Get some header tank. This 12-gallon header tank. They're pretty flimsy. That big bucket I sent you a picture of, Arrow. I noticed it says maximum 50 pounds. I'd put 12 gallons of water in it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, make it happen.
I think it would need to be on a bucket stand, kind of like what I have the double pump set on right now. I need to get some of that 3-inch angle aluminum and have my dad weld me a bucket stand that the bucket could sit in or flip it around so it's a platform like I have it now. I don't like all the plates and rivets. I just want to miter cut all the pieces and have them weld that thing. I think it'll be good. I like your idea of what to do with the leg brackets. I'm gonna, after I get off of this interview, I'm gonna go make a boatload of leg brackets. I need like 5 sets before Saturday, and I've got 0. I've sold them all, but I've got 12 sets cut out, ready to start bending. I just need to clean up my shop a little bit so I can get to what I bend them on.
Spring's right around the corner, everybody. Make sure if you need a river sluice, you need, anything that you have in mind, get a hold of Casey. Get those builds in as early as possible. Get a hold of him. I sent you the link over to his Facebook page. Actually, I'll put it up one more time. Let it roll for a few minutes. Go over there. Show him some love. Like I said, spring's right around the corner. And for a lot of people, spring has already begun. So,
Yep, starting here already.
Yep.
I basically build to order. I metal on the sheet till I know what I need to build. Every once in a while, I want to get the big sheet out of the way because I don't have a good place to store stuff. So I'll just cut off some sluices and make sluices. So usually those are 8-inch river sluices, which can be part of a combo package. The standard 8 10 and 12-inch river sluice can be turned into a power sluice or a high banker. Working on 6-inch to go that way. I have a new high banker model. It's only a high banker. It's the mini. It's my mini high banker. It's the one that I use for my hand pump high bankers. Yeah. So I've got a few things that are made ready to go. The mini drimmer, I've got 3 of them. I only think one of them is available. I'm going to do a giveaway sometime this spring on Sluicebox Hero to give away one of them. And yeah, so if anybody needs any sluice boxes, you let me know.
Yeah, definitely get a hold of him.
Build something.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like I said, it's it's a local community. It's a community where we all freaking support each other. So get over there, show your support. Before we get off of here, I promise something. I know it's kind of running a little late, but I promise something to one lucky individual. And that's going to be a 0.5 gram bag of some PB sourdough pay dirt. So
who's that going to?
Well, we have to raffle that off real quick. So, in fact, since Casey is the special guest of this evening, I would like for you just to go ahead and pick a name out of the comments section. No pressure. No pressure. No pressure.
All right. Where do I see that?
Let's see here.
Right
So,
hand side of your screen.
do you have your Facebook popped up? Because just making sure. Well, you know what? Shit. Yeah, because he has StreamYard. He doesn't have Facebook up.
No.
Yeah, I'm on my phone, and the only thing I can run any app.
Yeah,
on,
let's do this.
Leave here.
Let's do this real quick. Drop your name in either YouTube or Facebook. Drop your name in real quick, just your full name. I'll enter it into a name wheel. And then that way we could do it fair and square, because knowing my luck, I'll have you pick on StreamYard, and then it won't have the people from YouTube or vice versa. So drop your names real quick in YouTube. Drop your names in Facebook if you're watching on Facebook.
Excuse me.
Watching on StreamYard. And what I'll do is I'll copy, cut, and paste into the name wheel real quick, and we'll have a winner. How does that sound?
Winner, chicken dinner.
All right.
Here they come.
Set up another giveaway because I don't know what the hell I'm doing yet.
Like I told you last time in our group chat, just talk to me or Jaron, man. We'll talk to you. We'll tell you how to do a giveaway.
Oh,
You got that shit down on pat.
Brains up. Because I need to get on it if I'm going to do a springtime one, and I've got some goodies sent to me from other people for it.
We have a. That's right, James. You want to make a couple announcements while I'm putting these names in here, brother man?
Hey, okay, so let's not forget about Puyallup. We got the Puyallup Gold Show this weekend.
What's going on in May?
In May, let's see, what have we got in May?
Our giveaway, our annual spring giveaway. What are you talking about?
Would you let me be a little suspenseful? Okay, God. No, in May. All right, May we're gonna have our spring giveaway. Everybody, most likely some really good stuff as usual. I don't want to say what it is because then I'll give away the surprise. But don't forget about the Gold Show this weekend if you're around Puyallup.
We got some of those vampire wax flips.
So you'll have Arrow's Crazy Mud there, most likely. The big Gigantor, Jaron, Jolly Ginger Giant. You won't.
Jolly Green Giant. Get it right, bro.
Nah, you're ginger. See, you're not green. And then you got. We'll be doing the traveling road show, meet everybody deal. That will be the last week of June.
And that's when you're going to come out to my shop, huh?
Yeah, we'll be out to your shop in the last week of June. That's right.
I'll get it up the day before.
James is giving everybody a golden ring.
Oh! Hey, do I get one? Shit, I'll take one too.
Arrow, you're doing what? Let's see. Of course, we'll be announcing the group dig soon. Jaron will be dropping something about another claim sooner or later. I don't know when he'll drop
that. Will be dropped on the annual spring PB spring giveaway in May. I'll be dropping another official PB claim announcement, state, location, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to be too verbal about the specific places until we get official dates for like group digs.
That's
Once
why
we get official,
I left out where claims are actually located for now.
yes, sir.
We do have 2 new ones open to us in Montana. They both went active. One last week, and the other one 2 weeks ago, which is the Broke Down Palace and the Cumberland Blues claims.
Cumberland Blues.
So those are all in historic gold producing areas of just one of the few areas of Montana gold rushes. So I will say it is good old Montana gold. We're talking gold in that area, has been tested mostly at 0.96 to 0.97 on the fine. I mean, it is some of the purest gold around.
I think at this point, I'm just excited to get out and have a campfire and get away from technology and people. And
yep. I do like to say this every spring, please, people. I know we're just jonesing to get out there and get in the water. But remember, the water is still super cold. It's gonna be going up, not down, as spring goes on until June. So don't be that guy whose gear got found on the beach and nobody knows whose it is, all right? Let's just
be safe.
Be safe out there. Remember to come home to tell your story.
We have a couple of guys that are in mountain rescue that are actually part of the BB family. I talk to them every once in a while. And that's what they can't say that enough. There's a few posts, I think last week or the week before, they made posts that said, hey, I know you're going to go out alone. Sure, bring a GPS tracker with you. Bring something. If you're going to be gung-ho, going yourself, that whatever, it's not advised, but bring some type of something to where if you get up in a sticky situation, you got something to get your ass out of it. If not, bring a friend. Bring a freaking pen.
That's what prospecting buddies are for, though, right?
Exactly.
Yes,
that's what prospecting buddy is for you
to
have a buddy to prospect with.
Exactly. All right. So with that being said, don't want to take too much time up here. I'm going to name off the names that I have on the wheel. If you have not heard your name, put your name down in there in parentheses.
Ooh, that was a good one from Diesel. And don't forget about the ticks. It's tick season. Throughout the entire country, those damn things will make you sick for the rest of your life.
Montana specifically.
Hey, we don't have Lyme disease, buddy. We just have a lot of ticks.
Dude, tick central. Tick fucking central.
Libby's bad. Libby's pretty bad. Where the new claims are isn't as bad as that was.
So I'll tell you a 2-second story here. I've never had a guy put their hands through my hair, but I've been perfectly okay with it leaving Montana because of how many ticks I had on myself. Okay, so other than that instance, I'll never have another man put their hands through my hair. But with that situation, it was kind of plausible. So,
yeah, where you are in the country, it can be worse. Some areas have Lyme disease, some just have Rocky Mountain spotted tick fever, and certain things. So it's just beware of the tick. Is just the best way to go about it. You don't know what it carries.
So we got some names. We got Chris Hayes. We got Brett Foley, Robert Lee, Mike Crawford, Kent Dowd, One More Pan, Adam Carlson, Ed Marvin, Fred Messimer, Courtney Helms, I.B. Neal, and Chuck Bauer. If you did not hear your name within the next couple of minutes, 2 minutes to be exact, if you have not heard your name, put your name in the comments. And if I don't see it within the next couple of minutes, 8:16, I am spinning this wheel and someone is winning a half-gram bag of PB sourdough pay dirt. Woo. All right. We got a comment that says the lies. It's not a lie. I will never have another man put their hand through my freaking hair, okay? Other than Montana. And I got a feeling that came from Arrow. I got a feeling that coming.
It did not come from me.
I bet you it came from Adam.
Nothing to type with, so.
No, mine was just, I'm just looking for the ticks.
Let's see. We got another one. go with my prospecting buddy, Arrow C. Bremer. Good
Chuck
dude.
Bauer. Make sure Chuck's in there.
He is. He is
Okay.
in. We have one more question. I have no clue, brother. It's on Facebook. This one says, did you have a location for the Washington group dig? So it'll be either up north past Sullivan Creek area, past the mill pond up north, or the other location will be on the west side of Washington State over by Arrow and Casey's neck of the woods. It'll be either over there or up north, but or both, but 100% for sure, no questions, if, ands, buts about it. We will have a Washington group dig for 2022. Period.
Real close to me in town, the local places wouldn't be the right place to do it here. Otherwise, I would say close to me.
We got
go up north from here, I think.
We got to, excuse me.
I think there's somebody we can talk to that can probably help us out with that. So.
I think we all know somebody.
We have two different individuals that I've been in contact with personally. We've been in talks with group digs over on that side.
How about Christy Parham? You got her on the list. Christy
Yep,
Parham.
I got her. But yeah, so I've been talking to two different guys on the west side of the state over there that they have some property. And so we could do a group dig over there and not get messed with, yada, yada, yada. We're still hashing things out as far as, food and sites and stuff like that for tents and yada, yada, yada. But we're definitely going to have a freaking group dig in Washington regardless. Both areas have some decent camp sites, a little bit of digging and moving and this, that, and the other, but that's all the fun. So with that being said,
spin that wheel, brother. Spin it.
Yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and spin this wheel real quick. Drum roll, please.
Who's gonna get the sourdough cake? Who's gonna get it? Hey, what am I doing?
Oh, Mr. Ed Marvin.
Winner.
Mr. Ed Marvin. Ed Marvin, you are the winner of the Pater bag, brother man.
Congratulations, Ed.
Damn, Ed, you lucky man.
Ed Marvin. Make sure you send me your address, private message through Facebook, through Messenger, brother man, and I'll get that sent your way, big dog. With that being said, I appreciate everybody jumping on here and watching the podcast this evening. I know this was one of the hot ones. We've been begging Casey. Well, I've been begging Casey for a little while to get on the podcast. I appreciate all you guys jumping on. Arrow, I appreciate you jumping on as a special guest, man. I didn't know what you had got going on over there. So I appreciate you jumping on. Co-host James, I appreciate you being on the podcast this evening. And then the late, the great Mr. Creighton Metalworks himself, I appreciate you jumping on, brother man.
Thanks for having me.
It was great having this guy on the show.
Yeah, most definitely.
You want quality equipment. You want it made right.
Yeah, that guy right there. That guy right there. With that being said, I appreciate all you guys being on tonight, and let's get the hell out of here. Let's have a good night, huh?
Hey, everybody, be safe. Have fun. I love being on the show.
Guys.
See you all. I'll see you guys at the Puyallup show, and I'll have something for you.
Perfect. That sounds good, brother man. I will see you soon. You guys have a good night. Everybody watching, have a good night. Later.